Hello everyone. In this video, we want to talk about the settings in project or general data for CYPECAD and CYPE3D. Actually, the settings in general data using CYPECAD or CYPE3D are almost same. And so here we are going to cover that part. So right now I'm using CYPECAD, and as you can see here, just by going to the project, as you can see here, I can go to the project, and here I have the general data. You can go there, and from here, so you need to set the parameters here. So the first option here, you have the description. So definitely here you can write the name of the project, and if you have any comment here, so you can put it here. And also here you have the codes. So from here you can set different codes. You have the concrete codes for different international codes, cold form steel, hot rolled steel, timber, aluminum, reinforced concrete block wall, and composite slab can be designed according to EC6 and EC4 respectively. So this is for the codes, and then here you have the settings for the reinforced concrete. So first of all, here we have different grade of the concrete for different elements. As you can see here, we have the floor slabs, foundation, columns, and walls. So for each of them, so simply from here, you can select the grade of the concrete. Okay, and also here you have the aggregate properties as well. So you can click on that. If you are using the same aggregate for all the elements, so you can select the first one. If you are using different aggregate size or different elements, so you can use different aggregate size as well. And beside each of these options, so here you have the small icon. So you can just click on this icon, for example, under floor slab. So again, if you have the different type of slabs, for example, for the stairs, so you have the landing. So then here you can set the concrete grade. Or if you integrated the 3D structure, or you import the CYPE3D model to CYPECAD. So again, from here you can set the grade of the concrete for floor slabs in different manner, and also for a slope beam. So the grade of the concrete can be set here. And from here also you have different floors. Assume that you have the multi-story building, and maybe for some of the floors you have different grade of the concrete. So that's why here you can specify the grade of the concrete for each floor in this field that you can see right now. Likewise, for the foundation, also you can go to this option, small icon that you have here. And if you want to consider the soil structure interaction, so you can click on here, verify footings sliding. And from here, you can get the information from the geotech engineer, and you can key in the value here. And so maybe here I need to a bit explain about this. So here you have the persistent situation, and also you have the seismic and accidental situation. So for foundation, or let's say soil of the foundation, so here you have these two options, and if you go to this small arrow that you have here in the blue color, just click on that, and you can get the standard value of the allowable bearing pressure of the soil for different characteristics: gravel, dense sand, medium dense sand, loose sand, and so on and so forth. And as you can see here, you have the values again under persistent situation, or let's say normal situation, and also under seismic or accidental situation, especially once you have the lateral movement or lateral force due to earthquake load or wind load. So you can use these values as well. And also in terms of the foundation design, so you can consider the wind combination and also earthquake combination. So if you don't have any wind or earthquake in your loading, so you don't need to consider the wind and earthquake combination for designing the foundation. So this is actually setting for foundation. And also you can go to the column here. Again, you can specify the grade of the column by the or let's say according to the floors that you have. For example, here I have two floors. So in both floors I'm using C30/37, and that's why here you can see actually double prime. So which means the software using the same grade of the concrete. But from here simply I can change it, for example, to C20. But let me just go back to here. Okay, and also for the wall, so you have two options. So the first option, if you click here, again you can grade the or change the grade of the concrete for the wall in different floors. And the second one is particularly for masonry walls. So you can click on this, and from here, so you can again set the values for the masonry wall, like modulus of elasticity, shear modulus, unit weight, and so on and so forth. So another important thing that I need to tell you is that so these settings are, we call it one-time setting. So it means that once you are satisfied with this setting, and once you found them, they are based on the requirement that in your company, so you can save them as default setting. So you don't need to waste your time every time after opening the software, come here and change the settings. No, just one time setting, that's it. Okay, so I'm not going to save anything here. And then here again, still we are talking about the reinforced concrete grade, and here you have the steel. So this steel actually is for longitudinal and transverse reinforcement or steel. So that's why here you can see the bars. So from here by default again, or generally you can select the grade of the longitudinal and transverse reinforcement here. Or if you want to, let's say, be more specific, so you can go to this option. So if I click on that, so from here you have different options for setting the grade of the reinforcement. So as you can see here, the first option is in column, walls, and corbels. And from here, so you can select the grade of this, let's say, reinforcement of these elements. And also you have the floor slab. So you have the option to adjust the grade of the reinforcement in the beams, in the slabs, waffle slabs, joist floor slab as well. And also for the reinforcement of the foundation. Okay, so for the foundation beam, and also mat foundation, and also in the footing or pad footing, combined footing, and also pile cap. So you can select the grade of the concrete here. So in this window that already we use this small icon, also you can do some other things as well. For example, you can arrange the reinforcement, or you can set the reinforcement rule for yourself. For example, here, if I go to the reinforcement option that you have here for columns, walls, and corbels, so I can click on this small icon here, just click on that. And from here, as you can see, you have different options. Reinforcement table, so you have the reinforcement for columns, shear walls, and wall horizontal reinforcement. Again, for shear walls and other walls, for vertical reinforcement, for corbelled primary reinforcement table, and also stirrup reinforcement table for the corbel as well. If you go, for example, to the column, so here you can get the reinforcement information for the columns, for the rectangular column, and also for circular column as well. And from here, simply you can set up the reinforcement that you want to use. Okay, just you need to, let's say, uncheck or check the reinforcement that you want to be used in your project. And also here you have some additional information about the longitudinal reinforcement configuration. So here you can read it by yourself. And also for the stirrups, so you can go to the stirrup arrangement, so you can click on that. And then, so if you have more than uh, let's say two face reinforcement, so you can come up with one of this let's say pattern for the stirrups. Not only that, also here you have the options for circular stirrups as well. So you need to just review the parameters because we know that for every company they are actually looking for different requirements. So that's why, so it is completely depends on the user and the engineer that work with different companies. So that's why we leave it actually to you as an engineer, and you can set up the values here. But again, the most important thing that I wanted to tell you is that so always you can set them as default setting. So here you have the option to set them as default setting. And if you want to create the library for yourself for reinforcement, so from here, so you can export the reinforcement as a library or as a template. You can also import the reinforcement table as your own library, and you can use it here. Okay, so if you want to create a library, please contact us and we can help you to create the reinforcement library for yourself. Okay, so I will cancel this, and from here also you can set or check other options as well. For example, if I go to the reinforcement arrangement, as you can see here, you have the bar layout, you have the splice at floor level, so you can just review this options, column start option. So how do you want to connect the reinforcement of the column to the foundation? So all of them can be set up here, and again, so always you have these settings as default settings as well. Okay, similarly here, you have the information not only for changing the grade of the beam element, column element, slab elements, also as I showed you here in the column. So also you can go to the, for example, beam and click on this small icon that you have here. You can click on that. And again, here you have the beam reinforcement table, foundation beam reinforcement table, and so on and so forth. So just you need to check these options by yourself and set the parameters according to your requirement. And also from here, so this is small icon, as you can see, so you have the stair options. So from here you can set up the parameters for staircases. So as you know, in CYPECAD we have the parametric staircases. So it is actually one of the difference between setting that you have in CYPECAD and CYP3D. So in CYP3D you don't have this option. Okay, and the last one, so I can say that is the general setting. So simply you can go to click on that. For example, you can go to the cover, and as you can see here, you have the cover for different elements, column and walls, beams, flat slab, waffle slab, and so on and so forth. And if you want to change them, so by default you can see the covers. So let's say, for example, for the columns, so I can go to the option that I have here, just click on that, and then from here you can change the cover. Or for example, for hollow core slab, so you can click on this, and then from here you can set the covers. So this is actually the thing that you can do. And so let me come out from this one. And also here we have the bolt option. The bolt option is for designing the connections. So in both CYPECAD and CYPE 3D, so you can design the connections as well. So that's why here you have the setting for the bolts. For example, you can select the grade of the bolt, and also here you have the option for base plate option. So you can click on that, and from here, so you can set up the parameters for base plate. So let me take you to the CYPE 3D. So if I go to the CYPE 3D and then to the general data, so here for the bolt, you see here you have the options for the columns, for the foundation, for the beam. So under this option, so again the same thing you have as I showed you in CYPECAD. For example, if I go under column, so here you have the reinforcement table, and then so here if you click on that, you see here you have the same parameters. Okay, if I go to the reinforcement arrangement, so you see here already I showed them to you using CYPECAD. So you have the same settings, but I want to talk about this. So you have the joints, which is actually now the connections, and also in CYPECAD you have the let's say here bolts, which is actually for setting the connections parameter. So but inside 3D is, let's say in under general data is more detail. However, in CYPECAD, once you run the analysis, so let me accept this. If I go to the result, okay, and then here you have the joints, and from here you have the joint analysis option. So you can click on this, and then here you have the joint analysis option. You have the options for setting the non-pre-stress bolts, pre-stress bolt, and also a stiffener. So let me take you back to CYPE 3D. In CYPE 3D, once you click on joints, so here you have the material, and also you have the option. If you go to the option, you see you will get the same settings. Okay, so this is actually just the same thing, but in different manner. So that's why. So once you are familiar, with one of these settings, doesn't matter from CYPECAD or CYPE 3D. So definitely you can set up the settings for yourself. So let me go back to CYPECAD and then go to project, general data. So we talked about the bolts, and also we talked about the setting the concrete grade and also the grade of the reinforcement, which is all related to RC elements. So that's why here we have the options, to set up these options. And then here you have the settings for steel elements and also for timber and extruded aluminum. So for the steel, so you have the ruled and welded sections. So simply you can set up, for example, to S275. And for cold form, so again here you can set up the cold form grade according to selected code. Okay, and also for the timber, and also you have the for aluminum. So the next option is loads. So simply you can go to the loads option, and as you can see here, so in CYPECAD, so you can generate the wind load and seismic load automatically. So that's why for the wind load, so always you can go to, let's say, the option that you have. Let's say, for example, here, just let me just to cancel this. If I just click on wind load or with wind load, so you have this setting. So from here, you can go for selecting different codes. So for example, you can go to generate the wind load according to British code. So here you have the Eurocode 1, and also you have the main British standard, which is BS 6399, or you can set up the parameters for wind load according to Eurocode. Okay, and also you have different international codes if you are involved in different countries, so you can use this codes as well. And definitely from here, so you can go for considering the P delta effect or second order effect. So if you want to consider that one, so you need to click on here, and then so from here you can consider it into your analysis. And also you have the seismic loading, so just you need to check this option. And again from here, so you have different international codes. So for those who are designing the structure in Malaysia, so here also we have the Malaysia annex as well, and for different regions, for Peninsular Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak. And from here again, so you have all the other information which is according to Malaysia annex. Another important thing that I can tell you, so always you have actually these question marks, so you can click on them and you can get extra information or detailed information to get the exact value. So you can always come to this options to get the more information about whatever you have. So this is actually for seismic, and again, so here you can go to the a second order effect for activating it if you want to consider the P delta effect. And definitely, so in this software, we can go for apply the earthquake load as the static or equivalent lateral force, or you can go for dynamic analysis, which is modal spectra or response spectrum analysis. So here, since the dynamic analysis is selected, so that's why here you have the design spectrum, so you can click on that, and based on the settings that you have here, so you can see the response spectrum as well. Okay, and also if you want to consider the fire resistant check, so you can just click on that, and from here, so you have the options to create the let's say or consider the fire resistant check for your structure. Okay, if you don't want, so simply you can, let's say, uncheck this option as well. And also from here you have the limited state or combination. So for the combination, the software automatically generate the combination, so you don't need to worry about that. But if you want to create your own combination, so it's possible. So again, so you can actually come to our training, or you can also contact us if you want to create the load combination by yourself. But the way actually is here under displacement, and from here you have the configure combination for each limited state. So you need to click on that, and based on the material or governing material that you have for your structure, assume that you have the concrete structure, and then come here and you have the general data, and here also you have the project situation introduced by the user. Okay, and from here, so you can specify the, let's say, ULS or SLS by clicking on these two options, so which is add ULS or add SLS. And also you have the additional load cases or the load types. So from here, simply you can go to the first option, the categories of the live load. So simply you can go there and you can specify the, let's say, the category of the live load depends on the type of the, let's say, area that you have. So as you can see here, you have the categories for domestic and household, offices, meeting area, shops, warehouses, and so on and so forth. So at the same time, also you can create or select different options as well. And the self weight will be calculated automatically by the software. So you have the primary dead load and live load. So that's why you can see these two options will be generated automatically under automatic option. So this is actually the primary dead load and live load. If you want to have the additional live load or dead load, simply you can go there. For example, I want to add the live load. So here simply I can go there, and then from here new additional load case. From here you can rename it, and then you can accept it, and then so you can accept. So right now, as you can see here, you have another additional, let's say, live load. And similar for dead load. So you can add any other load that you can see here. For example, for the wind load, so you can add it automatically by checking this option, or you can add it manually, which is under additional. So that's why here, so again, you need to click on this small icon. And from here, for example, you want to say that W1 or wind 1, and then so you can accept it, and then you can accept. So here you have the wind load. So this is actually the way that you can specify the different load types by yourself, and you can include it to your project. So let me just cancel this. And here you have the effective length factor for columns, for concrete and composite columns, for steel columns, and also for timber columns. So you can specify this as well here. And also you have the other options, which is the last one. And this is actually for checking the crack width for the beams and also for the pile caps. So that's why here you can click on the beams, and then here you can specify the environment that the structure is going to be constructed. So you can select it, and also for the pile cap, so you can select the environment, or let's say exposure condition. So this is actually the setting for CYPECAD, and as we said that this is almost similar with CYPE 3D. So if I go back to CYPE 3D, so from here, so you have the same thing. So you have the codes. So you have the section, which is actually for steel section. So you have the ruled steel, cold form steel, timber, aluminum, and concrete. So it is actually the general one. So you can set the grade of this material for yourself. Okay, and here, if you want to be more specific, again, for setting the grade of the concrete elements, for example, for concrete column, or for let's say floor and concrete beams, and also for foundation elements. So you can specify from here. So which means you can be more specific for setting the grade of the concrete elements. And again, here you have the bar steel. So which means again the setting or set the grades for the longitudinal and transfer reinforcement for the different concrete elements as well. So from here, so you can select on this, and as you can see here, you have the longitudinal and transfer reinforcement for the columns, beams, and also different foundation elements as well. So from here, you can set up the grade of these elements as well. And also you have the aggregate. So again, so you can click on that. So you have the 4 concrete columns, floor slab beams, foundation beam, and also foundation option as well. And also you can go to the cover. You can set the cover for the column, for the beam, and also for the foundation, for example, footing and pile caps, and also strap and tie beams. And again, so you have the save as default setting option just to save your time. And if you remember under CYPECAD general data settings, so for activating the soil structure interaction, so I showed you how to do that. Here in CYPE 3D also you have the option foundation soil, so the explanation is exactly same. And also under load, so you can generate the seismic load automatically in CYPE 3D, so just you need to click on that. And again, same thing that I showed you in CYPECAD, so I don't want to waste your time. And also you have the fire resistant check, limited state or combination, additional load cases or load types, so already I showed you, and also foundation. So if you click on the foundation already under CYPECAD setting, we explained that if you have the wind combination or wind load and earthquake load, so you can add those loads to the combination for designing the foundation. Okay, so here you have the option, and under option here, so this is all related to foundation, related to concrete elements, for example, concrete column, concrete beam, and foundation. If I go to select on the beam, so you have the option, the first one, just click on that. And as you can see here, again, you have the same settings as I showed you in CYPECAD as well. So just you need to, go through them and change the parameters. And the last one is environment, which is actually for checking the crack width of the beams under different conditions. So you can click on this, and as you can see here, so you have the exposure class and the different, let's say, conditions. So just you need to select them with different, let's say, categories, and you can also set up the maximum crack width as well. So this is actually the settings for CYPECAD and CYPE 3D, and hopefully after seeing this video, so you will be familiar with the settings, and so without any problem, so you can set the parameters and start your project. Thank you so much. If you have any question, if you have any comments, please leave your comment to us, and we will come back to you as soon as possible. Stay tuned with us and have a great day. Bye-bye.